What's up, guys? For the student infield this month, I have an extra special treat for you. This is actually footage from a very good friend of mine who is actually an immersion coach as well. So he has very, very good game. I really do like breaking down guys that get results and are a bit advanced, because you'll see usually fewer of the fundamental mistakes, and you'll also see a lot of interesting glimpses where I can actually point out good game, which is good. It's nice to be able to point out things he's doing really well as opposed to things he's doing badly. So I haven't looked at this yet, actually, so no pressure on him. Hopefully his footage lives up to the billing I've just given it. But it should be good. It should be fun.
That was totally Instagram worthy. That was totally Instagram worthy. You're just like Snapchat, Instagram.
What happened?
We're all taking selfies over here.
Anyway, we're taking
First
selfies.
hashtag Miami, first time.
I know, right?
It's fun. I'm like,
Where are you guys from? Really? Yeah, I love it here. I'm ready to move.
oh God.
I just need to get a tan and get brown, and I'll fit right in. Some Latin music. Are you guys escaping the cold weather?
It's freezing.
Is it snowing there?
Oh, it's snowing and raining.
Fuck.
Oh my gosh, yes, it's flooding and it's just too much.
You don't have winter.
I know.
And
yes,
in Miami,
summer.
it's like summer 24/7.
Okay, so this I like and dislike at the same time. I like it in the sense that it normalizes the conversation considerably, and it just shows you as like a cool social guy, and that's all really, really good. Other thing I don't like is it is veering towards becoming a small talk type conversation as opposed to something that's going to have intent and go somewhere. So it's fine as it stands, but if you keep this up for much longer, you're going to be kind of in a dangerous place as far as that goes.
It's like perfect.
It was freezing yesterday.
Was it?
Yeah, it was all right. It was all right.
Yeah. We're here for
Raining
like.
on and off, so.
Okay. How long are you guys here for?
Huh?
How long are you here for?
Till Thursday.
Very cool. We're here for like a week and a half.
Oh, that's good. See,
Yeah.
I got work. I couldn't take that many days off.
Yeah.
So I got work Friday.
I don't think I'm gonna live till Friday. I've been partying so much.
Every day.
Too much. Like I'm hungover today. I'll be hungover tomorrow. So, what was your name?
Going. Like, where y'all like?
Well, right now we're just walking around. I'm trying to get a tan.
This is very positive. Like her asking you questions, obviously really good. And I guess it was the mom you said.
Yeah.
She ended up leaving, so that's always good. So this looks really, really good right now. Again, though, you've not really shown any actual intent. You did the a fucking around with you thing, which actually is intentful in a way, but it's still just very, very, very platonic.
I see.
Yes, and I'm like dying. I think tonight we're gonna go to this place over here called Mango
Oh my God, I'm going
for
into-
Latin night.
Latin?
It's Latin night.
They were talking Spanish? Oh,
Yeah. I can say I don't know any Spanish. I can say like yo soy my name, and that's it.
So it's gonna be like, oh God. We're
Yeah.
playing Spanish music all night?
I think so. Last night we went to this place called Rockwell, and it was all hip hop. Everyone was smoking weed. I'm like, oh, I feel like I'm back in.
Oh my God, I do not want to hear Spanish music all day. No,
But it should be good.
Saying, so I was like, what the heck?
Yeah.
They says a hookah thing over there. I
Where?
don't know. The person I'm going with, she lives here.
Who does?
So I don't know what place she was talking about.
Okay.
I just wanted to go eat out of a pineapple and drink out of a pineapple.
Okay.
That's all I wanted to do. So she said the only place that does it.
All right, so now, well, actually, what are your thoughts on this so far before I give you?
I was just warming up.
I was just warming. Okay.
No, it was cool. I was warming up. Just trying to get myself in the zone. It was like my first salt set, so this was kind of just my warm up drill to get better.
Mm-hmm.
It goes along.
Cool. What do you think is pretty good about it? What do you think could be better?
For it to be really good, show intent, and then sit down next to her and compliment her, or just show her that I'm sexually attracted to her.
Sure. Yeah. Intent for sure.
That's mainly the only thing it needs.
I'd say intent for sure. The other thing is it's kind of debatable who's leading at this point. Right, you were at first, like you were on your topics, and now she's like going off on all these like tangents of like talking about friends you don't know and stuff like that. It's kind of like veering off into like, you're like, oh, okay, cool, yeah, okay, cool. So like,
Kind of forgetting why you're there, forgetting your purpose of like
a little bit, yeah, a little bit. So again, it's totally a good set still, and it's totally like very. I mean, it's not. I want to say very salvageable. It's not even very It doesn't even need salvaging. It's still fine, but it just, if it's gonna become something, more needs to be done, kind of.
Is mango.
mangoes. Yeah. Well, tonight's supposedly like the night to be there, so that's why we're going. So hopefully it's good. But
Well, I'll see you there if you're there. So nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you.
And there, even though there wasn't a lot of intent or qualification, because it was pretty positive before that, I might have made some attempt to close. As far as that goes, I mean, what do you really have to lose?
Yeah.
Right.
True.
So yeah. So takeaways from that one: do more. Right? Like you didn't do anything badly, you just didn't do enough, and then try and close, which is also do more. One thing I really like that you do, most guys when they're gaming, they tend to really give their power away. It's very obvious, like I'm trying to pick you up, I'm doing something here, whatever. Your style is much more natural, especially that's why I liked the open that you used, but also throughout. Now the danger is if you're too natural and non-pickup-y, that results in no intent. So you need to have that mix of still be super natural and still be not overtly pickup, not have an agenda, but still have some kind of intent. Right, so that's really the mix to go for. But most guys, when they try and do pickup and they have intent, it's just very obvious what they're doing. It's very gimmicky, very fake. So I like that you're not that.
Excuse me? I'm sorry, 2 seconds. I'm sorry. No, I was gonna say before you run off, I just want to come say hi.
Hi. I'm not going to run off.
No? Where are you running to? Yoga?
No. I'm going to home.
We just came from the beach and there's like, it's not even a good day.
I'm actually like that too. Interestingly enough, on the open, I liked your other open more, but this one I like too, in that a lot of guys that, hey, I thought you were cute and I wanted to say hi, it seems so put on, seems so formulaic, so try hard and gives your power away. We're like, hey, I just wanted to say hi, which is, I still don't love it, but it's actually much better than the typical one that everybody else like goes with, right? It's more casual, more normal, more just as though you're assuming that they should know it's man to woman and they should know that you are a sexual being, and it's less explanation. Right? A lot of guys, when they say that, hey, I thought you were cute, I want to say hi, it's like they're explaining away why it's okay or why what they're doing isn't weird or whatever. Whereas you're just like, you're going with like, I assume it's normal, I'm gonna act normal, the frame is there. So I do like that. That's one thing in guys who do pick up formally, I see this very rarely. Most guys that do pick up formally, it looks like they're doing pickup, whereas you look very casual and very normal about it. Maybe too much so, like possibly like too much. But it's good. It's a refreshing change, and I'd prefer you err on this side than on the side that most guys do.
Today.
Why?
I'm from. There's no waves.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm trying to get brown though before I go home. I'm too white.
What part of are you from? Oh, really?
Yes,
Ah,
but
that's
I
so-
live now.
Yeah. That's nice.
Yeah. Well, all there is to do is party. I miss the ocean, and I miss brown people.
Well,
So that's why I love Miami.
I don't know. I think I like than Miami.
Do you?
Yes.
Are you born here?
living there. No, I was born in.
I've never been there.
You may go.
So I have a desire to like travel all.
The whole
Argentina?
round trip.
Yeah.
Round trip.
Okay, what's good about this? What's bad about this?
I'm just kind of all over the place, and I need to relax a little bit more and just kind of just show intent. Mainly just kind of relax, just pick a topic and just kind of vibe. I'm kind of all over the place
Okay.
because I'm being filmed.
Fair enough. The biggest thing, you actually said it and kind of passed over, is show intent, right? Same as in the last set. There's no actual overt intent here, so it's missing. You haven't really created that like dynamic between you and her. Until you actually make an intentful move, you haven't started the real flirtatious, growing the relationship process. So that's the big thing. The thing that I like that you're doing though a lot is you are sharing your own opinions. Like you are asking some questions here and there, but you're sharing a lot of your own views, a lot of your own opinions, a lot of your own personality. Or, oh, I totally want to travel to all these places. Oh, I'm trying to get a tan. It's like your sense of humor, or like your, the things on your mind. So you're very free with sharing your conversational topics, sharing yourself, and that's where a lot of your value is coming from. But again, it is missing that little hint of overt intent.
And I don't want to come home. I'm probably just gonna stay there. I'm
Maybe
gonna grow
you're
a
going
big
to
beard,
get,
get brown.
No, please. Don't get like that.
I'll have a ranch. I'll have like 3 women, and I'll be good to go.
Interesting.
Yeah. What do you do
Your
here?
plans is cool. Just going to.
But that, interestingly enough, did she say she's from? No. Yeah. Okay. I'll have 3 women, that kind of thing. Even though it's not directed at her, that is a show of intent in a way, right? It's showing that you're a sexual being. It's showing that you are willing to be a little bit not politically correct. You're willing to be a little offensive. Interestingly enough, being offensive can be a show of intent in some contexts. Because it's a show that like you're not just having a bland conversation, which is a start of something. So that actually, even though you're not showing, still I'd like to see you show some strong intent. That actually does help it along a bit.
Working for something, but
What do you do for work? What do you do for work?
it's a long story.
No.
No,
Quick question would be, I don't think you've asked like what she is headed somewhere kind of, but do you know what kind of time frame you have to work with here?
I don't. She tells me she's coming home, going back to her apartment.
Right.
So.
Okay. Because she seems interested in talking to you, but she seems to not like really get deeply engaged in any of the topics. And then on this one in particular, she's had sort of the like, oh, it's a long story, as in like I don't necessarily have time for a long story. Not that I don't want to tell it to you, but like that. So I wouldn't be 100% sure, but I would read from this that you might have something of a time constraint in this set. Yeah. At least at the moment, at least until there's more of a dynamic. So given that, I would tend to cut to the chase on what you're saying more often rather than be long-winded.
Be more direct.
Yeah.
More direct.
Yeah. Yeah, cut to the point of the set faster.
Don't run it like it's my game, run it like it's the game. Yeah.
Something like that.
and I was here too, but I just arrived like,
Okay.
because I was in.
So you're all over the place. You're like me. You just like to travel. Okay, if you could pick one place, where are you gonna end up? Like somewhere in the world. Like,
I haven't been visited many places, so I'm not sure.
No?
I have to go and explore many other cities to know what will I choose if I have to choose some.
Okay.
So.
I think this will be my last year, and I think I'm gonna move here
Oh, really?
next. I love Miami.
What do you do?
Well, right now I work at
Okay.
and then I work for this.
That's
So it's kind of boring. My boss, his name's
But
Todd.
no, that's good because you manage your own time. You don't have like any schedule. Like.
Good.
You can't. In the video, it's kind of hard because you can't see her face, but her eyes are like
Lighting up and stuff like that.
She's giggling. She can't stand still. So that's why I didn't want to overkill it. With just like, hey, you're overdo with intent. I'm more of just trying to like.
Right, that she's already very, very reactive. So you're more trying to like
I
just.
assume that the value's already really high, so I'm kind of just trying to pad everything.
Yeah.
In this set in particular.
Yeah, I have a quick question on that then. Because that makes total sense, first of all, and now obviously the result is good. She's like very excited, like giving you the number and stuff. And she does seem nervous. Question would be, if that was the case, do you think you could have instant dated?
Yes.
Okay.
And at the end of it, I even talked to him, and we were like, yeah, you should have moved it forward. But I was on film, so I'm just trying to get sets.
Gotcha.
So, yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, if it was out on
I
there.
should have pushed this farther than it was.
Gotcha. Cool. But yeah, obviously I like it.
And we
And
start escalating.
That's interesting.
It's okay. We'll see. But by the way, real quick, how old are you? I'm just curious.
Oh my god. You never ask that question to a
Why?
woman.
Well, guess how old I am. I'm. No, way younger. You don't. You look like you're 27. How old do you think I am?
You? Maybe like 27. Oh, really?
I'm still a little baby, a little wedo, a little gringo baby.
Um,
But before you run, you should definitely give me your number.
3 to 3.
Okay, hold on. I gotta. Do you go out in Miami a lot or not really? Are you more of a homebody?
I don't know. Not 3 to 3.
This better not be a number for Domino's. Because I do like pizza, but I.
No, it's not. It's just that I sometimes don't remember. Yeah, you can call to check if it is the
Okay,
one.
I'll text you right now.
Okay,
Oh, it's a
got
Los
it.
Angeles number. Me too.
Yeah,
I have
because-
a Pasadena number. Are you gonna remember who I am?
No, I don't. I mean,
No.
why? I never forget about anyone.
What are you doing? What are you doing later this like? What's up?
so that I actually like, given the context that you gave, which is that she seems really into you and she's like covered the "are you gonna forget me" kind of thing. I'm okay with it in that context. In general, I hate that because in general it shows like that you believe flaking is a thing and it shows insecurity or lack of frame or whatever. But if the context here is that like she is definitely very into you and you need to build comfort, then I'm actually kind of fine with that as a joke. But as a general rule, if that's a standard thing for you, I'd cut it. If that's like set specific, then I'd say it's fine.
I always just real quick judge on the women. So like if the girl is very like that or very open, I always assume that it's just comfort. However, if a woman's very standoffish and kind of shit testy a lot, then I know, all right, convey value, throw it back in her face.
Cool. Yeah. So yeah, I think that was very well calibrated.
But I have to.
I'm sorry. Where's a good place to go out around here? We heard Mangoes tonight for Latin night.
Yeah,
I'm trying to learn my salsa dancing,
I know,
so I'm
that's
like,
Latin,
just salsa,
I've never been
salsa,
there,
salsa.
but that's a Latin place, yes.
I can't dance. I'm white. I'm sorry. I'm horrible.
But I don't know. There are a bunch of places there, so.
So that I'd be a little careful of. Yeah, if you're.
Horrible.
Yeah, a little bit.
Trust me, I felt awkward doing it.
Yeah.
So what do I do?
So two things. One is because getting physical there, if you're not going to continue it, might actually make the number more flaky rather than less. Like it's contrary to objectives, but also a little. And then also once there was any resistance, that's how I would have just dropped it or whatever. Because you were kind of dancing and having fun. If she resisted, instead of being like, no, you will turn, just drop it. So that'd be my thing there. But I overall still, like, obviously it's a minor point. Overall, obviously the set's really good.
Yeah.
I know that you can go and explore each one and then stay where you want to be.
Okay. Well, I'll text you. We should definitely grab a drink. You're like very friendly. Can you teach me salsa? I'm trying to find a girl that can teach me.
I charge a lot per hour, so I don't know.
If I buy you
afford
2
me.
drinks, will you give me a free lesson?
Let's see.
Okay. Very nice meeting you.
Okay, nice to meet you too.
You are very nice.
Thank you.
I also in particular like, and you already know this, I'm not teaching you anything here, but what I also like that he did there is that he stayed a little bit after getting the number. He didn't just like, number, okay, well, nice meeting you, bye. Like stayed, had some interaction, had some positive vibes, made it seem like they actually could hang out, like they actually could be friends. Even screened what her schedule was, so you know kind of when and how to follow up. Even screen potentially a tentative plan. The one negative obviously is like getting physical there. I think that's actually contrary. But in general, yeah, staying, building a good vibe, obviously really, really well done.
Excuse me? I'm sorry, real quick.
What?
I was gonna say before you run off.
One thought for you. It's kind of interesting. Your opens, your tonality in the open is a little bit like on the weekends try for reports side. But I have a question, which is you're a big guy.
Yeah.
Right. So do you find that, because it might be a little different for you, that because it surprises me that you're doing this and getting like really good results. But as a big guy, do you find that sometimes if you go more aggressive, that girls are a little threatened? Or do you find that not to be the case?
No, if I go super aggressive, breaking tonality, usually they light up. However, I usually don't do day game as much, so I was a little nervous. So that's why I sound like a bitch.
Fair enough. I was wondering if that was like a calibrated, intentional thing.
Nervous. Yeah, that's why I say something really stupid.
Okay.
Just play it.
Fair enough. That was good. Good recovery though. Oh, yes. You're just giving me that look. Because that's good, because if he had assumed that she thought he was a terrorist just without a reason, then that would be very low value, right? That'd be very like, oh, I'm doing something wrong, or I expect girls to have a negative opinion. Whereas if he attributes it to a particular look that she gave, then it's like, oh, okay, there was a reason. It's not from insecurity, et cetera. So that's actually a pretty good recovery.
Vacation, so
What
all my
time is
friends
it?
are working.
Don't go to the beach now.
It's 4 o'clock. I need to get a tan.
Then go to that side.
Why?
Because if you go on the beach, the sun sets behind all the high rises. You're going to lose the sun like in an hour.
Okay.
See what I mean? So by the time you get on the beach, it's going to be like
You're smart.
nice.
This isn't the West Coast. I forgot. This is the East Coast, so it's the other way around. It goes that way. Do you love it?
Yeah, I'm going to happy hour. Let's go.
Oh, yeah?
Go on. What's your name?
You're going to happy hour?
Yeah, what's your name?
That's pretty good.
Yeah, she pulled me.
It's nice when you get pulled. That's cool. Yeah, she seems very helpful and friendly overall.
Very with it, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That whole beach thing was like very on point. Cool. All right. So what's good? What's bad so far?
I guess in theory she's kind of leading. But the good thing was, I came in, like I said, very nervous, pickup artisty, and but the second she was kind of like solid and grounded, and it kind of, I was like, oh, I can cut the shit. I can just be real, you know.
Cool. Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, it looks good, obviously. Still like all your sets, the intent is very subtle and slow building. Quick question, style-wise, because it's a day game.
Yeah.
In night game, do you show more intent more quickly, or is it still kind of similar to this?
No, night game is very much like this, and I really try not to make it super intentful until 15, 20 minutes into the set.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you find
Once
that?
I start to, but that's because of the calibrate.
Okay.
This is how I'm gaming. I slow play it and slowly take it up.
And not a lot of intent early.
Yeah.
Do you find it sometimes hard to hold sets without intent, or not at all?
Not at all.
Not at all.
No.
Cool.
Because I focus more on vibing and building the chemistry, and then that stuff all comes with it.
All right, cool. So obviously this set looks good. My one caution, and we'll see how it plays out, would be that because she's leading in a direction you want to be led right now, so by all means her leading is great. Yeah. Just be careful if the direction ever shifts. That a lot of times if like a lot of relationships have a precedent, right? Whatever's come before is what's expected to continue happening. So the danger is she's leading in a direction you'd like, but if the precedent of the relationship becomes she's leading you, and then that relationship ever veers off course, it's kind of hard for you to take the reins and start leading if you've never done that before in the relationship. So having occasional leading and having a little more input just in case gives you more leverage and power to change it up if and when that ever comes up.
From where? From
Taylor from these days.
born? Where are you born and raised from?
You know what? I was born actually in.
Oh, okay. I'm from yeah. Like
okay. Gotcha.
yeah. I lived
So
in.
it's like what, like down.
It's like as you go 15 minutes towards, and then I'm right there. So I was.
Wow.
Yeah, kind of all over the place.
Wow. I'm meeting my friend in a little bit.
Yeah.
She's really
Okay, so now this is I'm waiting to see how this goes as far as if it's going to be a joke or serious. I'm guessing joke, but so now there's a friend involved, right? So she was taking you to happy hour, now it's happy hour with a friend. How does this change your thought process, your philosophy, any of that kind of stuff?
I'm just kind of along for the ride. I'm not trying to think at all. And actually, well, if you keep playing it, there's a part where I crack a joke, and again, she's like very with it, like, hey, like cut the shit out kind of thing, and so I play it cool, and we just vibe the rest of the time. My friend doesn't even show up until 30 minutes later.
Okay.
Wow. I'm meeting my friend a little bit.
Yeah.
She's really sweet.
Yeah. What do you do out here in Miami?
I work for.
That's cool. I need to actually get a so I need
What? For why?
just because I need to be more pretty.
What?
I'm just no. That's my humor.
Yeah.
So what do you for like marketing, or do you?
My.
All right, so that's interesting. So she actually like noticed that what you said was like gamey or like.
That's right.
And then she's like,
turn game off. Like stop being so, jokey. Just
Cool.
be normal in a sense. And
Cool.
from here and then here on out, it goes pretty solid.
Cool. That's interesting. So if you are turning off the jokey parts of game, then in theory, just if you were to think about it, what sort of tools could you use if you need to show intent or move things forward? What would be available to you?
Oh, without being gaming, just this girl seems like she's very direct, like an alpha female, so just pure intent, like you look amazing, you're gorgeous.
You go straight up with that, and that's definitely something to try.
Yeah.
Is just be cool and then occasionally throw that in. Don't like overdo it, but occasionally throw that in. That's one. What else? So the other things that you could do theoretically, even if jokes and like the sort of punchy gimmicky stuff doesn't work, you still could do a lot of like conveying your personality through stories. And you could do a lot of you could still do frame control and frame association. Like you can tell stories about Like, if you want her to be more adventurous, you can tell stories about being adventurous, or like tell a situation where a friend wasn't and you judged a particular way. So you can still carry the frame and lead the conversation in various ways, even without being overtly gimmicky.
Gotcha.
The other thing you can do, if it's somewhat legitimate, is you can still do disqualification and teasing. Just make sure you don't do it random. Because what she's noticing is like the terrorist thing. She's like called you out on that being weird, and then the nose thing, a little that way being weird. And that's because you were just throwing game in at a random place.
Yeah.
But if she actually says something that's disqualifiable, disqualifying on that should still be fine.
Okay.
And also if she does something that's overtly silly, teasing her on the thing she actually did is fine. It's just this out of context game. She's just like she's very either hyper logical or hyper aware. So I'd cut that, but I wouldn't cut game entirely. Because if you cut game entirely, you're running into the risk of things just being too flat.
Well, yeah, it's not necessarily thinking of cutting game. It's more just along the lines of like, stop trying to think your way through it. Just like pretty much just relax and chill the fuck out.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. But yeah, don't throw game moves in just to throw them in.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's like a more. Oh, we had the worst luck ever. So we got here Friday night. We go to our Airbnb, and our boss booked it for the other month. So we literally get there, we go in there and there's people shit everywhere. We're like, what the fuck? And we're like, oh, it's not for March. So we spent the first night in Miami, like 5 hours trying to find a hotel.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it
That's
sucked.
hell.
Yes.
No one thought to look at the confirmation?
Well, we were trying to get it, and then when we did, we're like, oh, it's for March 1st. Or no, it's for March 12th. And we're like, damn it. Yeah. So we stayed at this like shitty hotel called.
They were there like
Yeah. Yeah, and it looks like Narnia and Jumanji inside.
holy shit.
Yeah, and it smelled like shit. So, but now we're in our Airbnb, so it's pretty legit.
Where are you at now?
We're over here on.
Okay, oh, you're at the
No. Well, there's 2 apartments, so we have 4 people up in the, and then me and 2 other guys were in like to the side of it.
Okay, here. Is it necessary to be precise about this?
No, but
You're trying to.
The only reason I am is because like she called me out on my shit the first time, second time, so I'm like, all right, just be natural. So, and I already knew I was gonna go sit down and she was gonna get me. We're gonna have drinks together. So I'm like, just treat this like a date.
Sure.
Yeah.
Agreed.
When I'm in date mode, it's like slowly, take it up.
No, vibe-wise, I totally agree. 100% agree. Chill out, relax, take it slow. That's my whole dating strategy as well. What I'm saying is just don't be too precise about details that don't matter.
Gotcha.
Right? So if instead of being like, well, I'm at 15th and this and near this, and just you just be like, oh yeah, I'm on 15th, just a couple blocks up. That's enough.
Gotcha.
Right? When you get too precise, that's in a weird way. Getting too precise is a sign of being in your head, or a sign, like, I don't want to say a sign of lower value, but is a sign of like, if you're overthinking, getting hyperlogical, that actually is a little bit away from the vibe as well. It's a subtle thing, but.
party adventure.
Yeah, pretty much.
What do you do for work?
Uh,
Oh my god.
so this will be my 3rd summer, probably my last summer.
Really?
Yeah, and then I'm trying to figure out where I want to go next. I kind of like Miami though.
I was there in August.
Yeah.
It was my first trip to the. I usually stay.
I know it's too far away from.
It was, but I didn't pay for it. My work did actually, so I was just like, yay, I'll be happy. And by the time I spent like $1 million on taxis, because I guess Uber wasn't there at the time, I was like, well, fuck. You know?
Yeah.
So,
Sucks.
I think I'm early, but
Are you?
I'm always early.
Are the drinks cheap here or what? Are they good?
Yeah, it's happy hour. Hi.
Let's hit the bar.
Yeah.
And we don't need.
I have to meet my friends at 5 at Shake Shack.
Okay,
So-
it's right around the corner.
Yeah, that's perfect.
I think my friend's bringing her daughter out, so I was like,
Well, it's perfect. I'll have a drink with you and then I'll go over there.
So I appreciate your nod towards being professional and on time for work. However, I think that probably didn't help you in this particular set.
However, she's being her girlfriend and her.
But what are they doing after?
I wasn't sure.
Yeah, so that's the reason why, is because if this was going to go somewhere, or if there was a way through it, having time constrained yourself, especially a firm time constraint with an exact time on it, is a little bit hard to get out of. Also, the time constraint for a lot of guys, learn that the time constraint makes the set more comfortable, right? But the point of the time constraint in that context is during escalation. So you want to make it more comfortable when you're escalating. Right here, you're not really escalating, so there's not really a need for it. She hasn't shown any sense of being uncomfortable. She hasn't shown any of that kind of stuff. So like the reasons to disqualify are either to escalate and avoid discomfort, or so that she doesn't disqualify in the same way first, right? So if neither of those is present, like disqualifying is kind of like silly. And the downside of disqualifying is you create a new obstacle for yourself, right? There's all the obstacles she's gonna have, and then any disqualifiers you throw out are your own obstacles you're gonna have to overcome later. So here I think you just created something to overcome without really gaining much from it.
She's always late, so.
Yeah. Are you? Same. I can't stay in the apartment all day. Like it drives me, especially when I'm at the beach. You know. So the plus side of Miami is the water's green. The downside is there's no waves.
Good, how's it going?
Good.
Brought a friend with me today.
What's that?
I brought a friend today.
What does that tell you, by the way? I brought a friend today. What does that tell you?
I'm a friend.
Nah, I wouldn't worry about that. Because that's more just like, she's not going to say I brought some hot guy that I want to fuck today, right? She's not going to say that to them, so that doesn't mean anything. But what does that say about her in this place?
She goes there a lot.
She's a regular, right?
Yeah.
So what does that say about your behavior and her likely behavior there, as opposed to what it might be if it was a random place she's never been to?
It has to be more appropriate.
Exactly. Right, if this is a place where she goes a lot, especially if people know her there, she's going to be a little bit reputation conscious, right? So I would keep the way that you're playing low-key under the radar game, is to keep it low-key under the radar as much as you can. In particular, like the verbal stuff, you can get away with some stuff, but especially with physicality, it's daytime anyway, so you're not going to be very physical as is, but I would definitely keep the physicality toned down in that context.
That's the way to go.
Can I have a traditional margarita on the rock
For sure.
with salt?
You know about the 1800 deal? It's like for $2 more, you get really, really better tequila. But it's
Okay.
up to you. Yeah, it's really smooth.
We'll do 2 of those. I'm buying one for my new friend.
Ah, you go. Here you serve
Tequila,
good
right?
tequila, right?
I'll drink tequila.
Absolutely. Would you like it with the salt or rim?
Yeah, like half salt?
Have some? Sure. I can do half some.
I never drink tequila,
Have
so
sugar, have chili spicy salt.
He
I'll do
doesn't
it.
drink tequila.
I'll do it though. Let's do it. I'll have a
After
margarita.
you try good tequila, he's gonna be drinking tequila.
1800.
All right, I'm down.
I'm sure.
What do you drink?
Jack and Coke.
You're lying. That's my drink.
I only drink.
If you like Jack and Coke, have you tried tequila añejo or reposado?
I have not. No.
Okay, it's a strong spirit. I'm gonna let you smell it. I'm gonna make the margarita.
Okay.
It's actually
down.
my drink, but it's happy hour and I love it here. So I come here and this is the only place to have margaritas.
Okay. I'm down to try it.
My friends make fun of my Jack and Coke.
I love it. I love whiskey.
So this is great in the sense that she's like bringing you into her world a little bit, right? Introducing you to a friend, introducing you to her bartenders, right? That's all really, really, really positive, right? So this looks like this kind of situation where even if it ends up being like a number situation, it has all the potential to be a pretty solid type of a number, I would guess. So that's really, really good. So what else I do in all these sets? Obviously the girls think you're cool. Obviously the girls think you're attractive. I like the fact that nothing you do is gamey or weird. That's really, really good to see in pickup, right? The fact that you approach and nothing's gamey or weird. It's very rare that I actually analyze footage like that. And it's like quite refreshing, to be fair. However, the one thing that is missing for sure in these sets is that the girls are not qualifying themselves to you all that much. They're telling you stories, you're telling them stories, but they're not really justifying themselves to you a ton. They're not really trying to prove themselves to you, win you over, any of that kind of stuff, right? So what I would, if I were you, try and really add in is find a way to instigate them to qualify. And whether that is, sometimes you could ask them questions about themselves that are a little bit difficult, that are a little challenging, right? Like for example, if someone has a particular type of job, it could be as simple as like, wait, that's interesting. Why did you choose to do that? That's an unusual decision, right? Where it's not mean in any way. It's just actually being curious, but it has just that little bit of judgment and that little bit of wait. Like I don't don't necessarily approve. I want to hear it out before I decide if I approve, right? So little things like that, even, which that's still totally under the radar, it's still totally non-gamey, but it's gonna get her to actually qualify, because it's all so very casual that it's like the girl has no reason not to like you, no reason not to go with you, no reason not to feel safe, no reason not to feel attracted, but you're not giving her quite enough a reason to do those things.
Gotcha.
Does that make sense? So my intuition would be that you'll get, and you can tell me if this is right or wrong, you'd get a lot of numbers that they like you, they'll follow up with you, but it might be hard to actually get them to take action and meet up with you. So you get a lot of text back, but not as much follow through as you'd like. And then also, when you do pull girls, probably the majority of them, you feel like you're at the end trying to have to like escalate slowly, do a lot of patient stuff, do a lot of, like they're not chasing you when you get them home. Like they're not escalating on you so much as you're escalating on them. That's just a guess, unless there's a shift later in the set, because there's just not a lot of qualifying.
Yeah, no, I definitely, if I'm really attracted, it's kind of hard for the camera, because I was trying to find some really, really helpful Tinas. But no, usually when I'm really attracted to the girl, I'll show more intent, but I just ended up like, well, I'm on a date, I kind of like forgot the camera was there, I'm just like, well, I'll just chit chat with this girl. But there wasn't really a lot of intent.
Sure. Gotcha.
To be fair.
Fair enough. So you weren't like super into this girl in particular?
Yeah, I was kind of just, along for the ride with the free drink.
Fair enough. There are worse things than flipping the script that way. Yeah. So yeah, I can't speak to what I don't see, so to speak. But the one thing that is in all three of these sets is sometimes they may qualify themselves naturally because they just are insecure, or they just feel like explaining themselves. But you're not doing anything overtly to instigate them to qualify. And so I don't think you're gonna get the super strong, deep qualification. So I would make a conscious attempt. Keep the things that you do well, which is keep it really natural, keep it under the radar, and definitely don't get gamey and don't do a bunch of stupid shit that gives your power away. Because that's a huge selling point in your game. That's something I very, very rarely see that you do very well. So definitely keep all that. But if you can, without losing that, do things to instigate qualifying, which means just challenge them a little bit, be willing to disagree with them a little bit. Right? If they have an opinion, be like, wait, have you ever considered this? Or wait, actually, I think this, right? Every once in a while, not all the time, but just every once in a while, things like that. Ask them a difficult question. If they do give you an opportunity to bust on them, take it. Like, don't be the guy you're gonna throw in like random gamey stuff for no reason, because that's incongruent with what you're doing in the rest of your game. But when you're given opportunities, definitely take those and use them, because developing a little more plot line in your set, I think will give you a lot more, like with them chasing and hooking harder and that kind of stuff. So that would be my big advice out of all this.